Welcome back to LEGO Wars. Tonight we're going to try and settle a score that's been running since 1999. Which is better, BattleBots or Robot Wars? Both shows have been celebrated in LEGO Wars since the start of the series with a number of replicas, some of which have went all the way to the main series title. In the spirit of current BattleBots, we've created a fight card of 10 fights culminating in a main event, so without further ado, let's see the lineup tonight. We'll begin with the mangles off between Monsoon and Boltz before the powerful horizontal Orby blade takes on Firestorm. There's a rematch from Series 3 in Hypershock v 23 Red, followed by Rusty's swan song fight against World War M, and our mid-card major being a replay from the Series 4 semis in Tantrum and King B Cubed. The second half of our fight card begins with Duck facing Block Lobster, followed by Whiplash v Dior. Nightmare is next up for BattleBots against Mastiff before Scorpio and Mingo put friendship to one side. And in our main event sees the first two series champions, Panic Attack and Wadley Meta, fight one another for the very first time. With all that said and done, let's get on with fight 1 as Monsoon faces Boltz.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Oh, very quick start there from Hangry, the mini-bot of Boltz, representing Robot Wars, of course. Monsoon representing BattleBots with that very scary vertical spinning bar. Boltz spinning around madly. It's not the most effective robot in the arena, but it is certainly entertaining. Hangry, meanwhile, using its front wedge to good effect on Monsoon. We haven't really seen anything from that spinner of Monsoon so far, and I think some serious damage has happened. Yes, look, you can see it there. The weapon belt is gone, which means Monsoon's spinner has been taken out. Could we see a huge surprise here? Will Boltz get the first victory for Team Robot Wars? A lot is on the line here. Lots of pride. Don't forget Boltz on the verge of the pit. Oh, well, we know. Oh, thanks to Monsoon somehow avoiding the pit there, courtesy of Hangry. Hangry's done all the work out, all the machines in this fight, and Boltz have thrown themselves down the pit. Oh, Monsoon, you were so lucky there, because as far as I'm concerned, that was Boltz's fight to lose once you lost that weapon. What a terrible shame there for Boltz. That was an absolutely insane start to this fantastic special, really. I'm quite surprised Monsoon didn't really do much. They lost the weapon belt very early. That's what they get for being dirty traitors and joining the American side at the end of the day. But unfortunately, despite the lack of weapon, they somehow still came out on top. Hangry tried their best to get them down the pit, but unfortunately, they were just able to get out of the way. And then Boltz threw themselves down instead. Because of course they did. Idiots.
Well, they did touch, so technically that was a fight, so BattleBots take a dubious point to start the night. Let's see if Robot Wars can strike back as Firestorm faces Orby Blade.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Can Firestorm rectify that terrible driving blunder made by Boltz in the last round and gain Team Robot Wars a point? Or will they be cooked here by that deadly spinner of Orby? Remember, Orby came third in this series of LEGO Wars, and there's a reason why. That spinner is horrendously destructive. Look there at the pieces of Firestorm littering the arena. Serious damage being caused there by the Korean killer known as Orby Blade. Oh, more damage being done. Can Firestorm withstand this kind of punishment? I'm not too sure. They've been pushed into the pit release button. It hasn't gone down yet though. More damage being done by Orby. Third place, as I mentioned a moment ago, in Series 4 of LEGO Wars. Firestorm, a bit of an old relic. Oh, and a sitting duck. One of the receivers has been ripped away. You can see it hanging there limp and loose. And I think that could be it now. Firestorm, yes, they're legends of robot combat, but a little bit outdated, I would say. Major players in Robot Wars back in the early 2000s, but here allow, in today's day and age, it's just not quite going to cut the mustard anymore. They've got 3 seconds to move. They're not going to, are they? Look at that post receivers hanging out the rear of the machine like some sort of disgusting entrails.
6.
And they've been dumped down the pit, and that was very impressive there from Orby, and that's another point going to Team BattleBots. Frighteningly destructive display there from the yellow peril. Firestorm just had no real answer there for that powerful weapon of Orby Blade. They couldn't get underneath them, and after having both side panels ripped away and its rear panels ripped out as well, those receivers were just far too easy to get a hold of. And after 2 very good shots at the back, there was little more of Firestorm, and Orby sent them down in a blaze of glory.
Some brutal destruction from Orby as they tear through Firestorm to stamp the early BattleBots authority. Robot Wars will need to get on the board, but they have history on their side going into their next fight. 23 Red faced Hypershock in the heats last year, ripping apart the yellow vert on the way to a commanding JD victory. With the score 2-0, the pressure will be on the two-time quarterfinalists to repeat that success.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So as it stands at the moment, Team BattleBots is whipping Team Robot Wars' butt with 2 points compared to 0. However, Team Robot Wars have a massive advantage now. 23 Red representing them, of course. Former two-time top 8 finishes, 23 Red. Those two spinning flywheels are very destructive, and Hypershock, meanwhile, has never really impressed or performed overtly well in LEGO Wars. They've never made it to a bracket, and despite coming back improved every year, there were always teething issues. And speaking of teething issues, that's a teething issue right there for you. One of the teeth of Hypershock's spinner ripped away, and that means that spinner is now unbalanced, and it is bucking around like a bronco bull out there. Look at that, rattling around the arena. I tell you what, it's always great fun when a spinner gets damaged, because when it's off balance, it just makes the robot jitter around like mad. Still able to do damage there on the other side of 23 Red, so don't count out the yellow peril just yet. Hypershock, of course, BattleBots legends. They keep getting better and better in BattleBots. If only they could sort out the little issues they have, such as steering for LEGO Wars. As you can see, steering is not their strongest point. They have to keep bouncing backwards and forwards into sidewalls, which will not get them many points when it comes to control. Meanwhile, now the weapon chain of Hypershock has also been sniped. Yes, you can see it there. Look, it's just pointing at the back of the robot now. So not only are they weaponless, they're taking serious damage. They can't steer properly. 23 Red, meanwhile, have got two very, very deadly spinners still spinning at full capacity. And, well, they can turn on the spot as well, which really isn't something you want if you are Hypershock at the moment. Good battle this so far. Hypershock have survived the damage that they've taken so far. And being honest, I would argue have survived better than I thought they were going to at this rate. I'll be honest, I thought Hypershock were going to get absolutely mauled at the early stages and would have been counted out already, so the fact they're still going, fair play. It's become a lot more durable and reliable over the years, Hypershock. That weapon of theirs is the very sad looking sight right now, although the weapon belt could be a little bit of a foil effort there for 23 Red, or will it be? Not too sure. It's being dragged around. No, they're okay. I thought for a minute there, 23 Red, we're going to get caught on the weapon chain, the pit button being pressed by Hypershock, so they must think that they could get 23 Red down that pit. That would be a huge surprise if they could come back and use the arena to their advantage. Not too sure they're going to do it, mind, because they still have barely any control. Their spinner's completely left the front of the robot now. Oh, goodness me! And they nearly threw themselves down the pit. I thought they were going to give up there and then. Fair play to them. They're desperate to get an extra point on Team BattleBots' side, but I don't think it's going to happen here. What are they doing? They just keep driving into the sidewall. What on earth is that about? Terrible control there from the BattleBots team. Well, believe it or not, it is going to go to the judges. 5 seconds remain on this one. I don't think it's going to take them too long to make up their minds, but I tell you what, the fact that Hypershock even survived to the end, kudos to them for that. Very entertaining battle, that one, but being honest, 23 Red didn't really have too many issues in that fight. They took off one of the front wedges, then they did serious damage to Hypershock's weapon. I think that's what really did them in, you know. Shaking and rattling around like that must have caused something to come loose inside, because they had no real control after that. The weapon belt also went, and then the weapon eventually left the robot entirely. For me personally, 23 Red won all 3 judges' criteria there. A very dominant performance there from the former 2-time grand finalists.
And the winner by unanimous decision is 23 Red. A near-perfect copy of their last encounter as 23 Red gets Robot Wars back on track. The baton is passed to veterans World.M to level the score, but with Rusty entering its last fight in LEGO Wars, the former darling of BattleBots will be determined to get one last victory.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So, can Weld or M tie things up in the scoring system to get Team Robot Wars another point? Oh! Not by the evidence of that. Using their top panel there as some sort of weird projectile weapon and launching it at Rusty. Not too sure how they managed to do that, but it wasn't the most orthodox of attacks. Rusty's lost his face, he's lost an eye, being pushed against the arena sidewall now there by Weld or M. Oh, they've lost a track as well. How on earth did that happen? I don't think I don't think World War M managed to get an attack on one of those tracks. I'm not really too sure how that happened, to be honest. Rusty, though, still able to move around. Yes, it's lost a track, but it is still able to move. If it loses its other track, then it's in trouble, but it can move on one track. A lot of track robots can in LEGO Wars. Look at that track just laying there in the centre of the arena. Fantastic stuff. Bits and pieces of Rusty littering the arena floor. No real surprise there. And I don't think it's going to be much longer now until World War M does get that point, that extra point that Team Robot Wars desperately needs in order to tie up the scores. Because at the moment they have been losing quite badly, although the front wedge now has come off of World War M. Can we still see a huge surprise here? The internals of World War M are now heavily exposed, and if Rusty can get a good hammer shot in those front internals, we could definitely be seeing a huge surprise. World War M going for the pit release button. Managed to release it on the second attempt, didn't on the first though. Rusty just trying really to survive at this point. Fair play to them, they have gone on for a long time after losing that track, and if they do survive to the end, they will have earned many a Roboteer's respect. It's a machine that's really mainly known for taking damage and receiving damage. The only time we've ever really seen it do damage to another machine was when it took out Darth Santa in a Christmas special all the way back in LEGO Wars Series 2. Not too sure how many of you keen LEGO Wars fans remember that fun spectacle from back then. Bringing the hammer down though, on to the exposed internals of World War M. No real damage done though in that attempt. It's a mighty looking weapon, isn't it, on Rusty? But I'll be honest, it's not the most deadly or the most potent. World War M, meanwhile, has that very dangerous spinner, although I'll be honest, we haven't seen it do as much damage as I thought it would here. I thought Rusty was going to be in 3 or 4 pieces by the end of this, and it's still in 1 piece and still going. Yes, there's many bits of it laying around the arena, but the main chassis is still all holding up together. And if this one does go to the judges, I'll tell you what, it'll be interesting. Certainly weapon effectiveness has to go to World War M. Aggression, that's a little bit more of an interesting story. I think that weapon on Rusty could get them some good aggression points as it swings backwards and forwards. As for control, let's be honest, neither of these two machines is really known for being well controlled, is it? Let's be fair now. Sonic came flying off Rusty there. We're into the final 10 seconds. This is going to go to the judges. Fair play to Rusty. They survived as long as they did. Fantastic work there for them.
6.
And they can be happy with that. Oh, look at that. Rusty finally down the pit, but it was far too late. His cease was already cold. Great stuff. Despite Rusty going down the pit there at the end, it does have to go to the judges because cease was cool before that happened. However, I don't think it's going to take them too long to make up their minds. There's going to be one winner for me, in my opinion. Rusty took damage all the way through that, even losing an entire track very early on. The fact they survived to the end, though, is definitely commendable. But for me, it's another point for Team Robot Wars. Although fair play to Rusty, they did manage to get several good shots in with that hammer, and they were very aggressive throughout, so they could still pull a surprise upset here. We'll have to wait and see what the judges say. Good fight.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is World War M. A good tussle from 2 more underrated machines in the series as Robot Wars draws level with BattleBots heading into the mid-card major in a clash we saw pretty recently. Tantrum of course faced King B Cubed in the semi-finals last time out, where after losing the chain early on they were forced to outdrive the old lifter and eventually pitted them on the way to the Series 4 title. Let's see if King B Cubed can get revenge.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
So the scores are tied, neck and neck, 2 apiece to each team, BattleBots and Robot Wars, but we have a real grudge match now between Tantrum in the orange machine and King B Cubed, the box-shaped machine with the lifting forks, and a piece of King B Cubed goes flying there, courtesy of the spinning, punching fist weapon of Tantrum. These 2 machines met in the top 4 of LEGO Wars Series 4. Tantrum won that, of course, and they went on to then win that series. Meanwhile, King B Cubed ended up going into the 3rd place playoff, getting absolutely destroyed by Orby Blade. So, revenge will definitely be in the eyes of the Robot Wars legends, but they've been snagged there by the screws. They got a little bit too close to that arena, hasn't they? Got caught by it. Can they get away from there? Yes, they can. So they obviously weren't completely and utterly immobilized by them. Oh, a little bit of damage under the front there of Tantrum as well. The reigning LEGO Wars champions, I guess you could say. They won the title earlier this year, don't forget. So they are officially the reigning LEGO Wars champions. Will King B Cubed be able to take advantage of that open slot now on the front of the machine that has been pried away? Look there, the ground clearance is now a lot higher. Can they get their lifting forks in there and get another point for Team Robot Wars? They've completely pried that away now. But can They capitalise on it. They're trying desperately, but instead they get hit by the spinner once again. A Tantrum. They took the punishment, but they didn't take the advantage. The pit has gone down. Can they get revenge on Tantrum and get them down that pit? Remember, they lost to Tantrum after Tantrum pushed them down the pit in that fight, so it'll be good, sweet revenge, and they can get the orange machine from BattleBots down there. Former BattleBots champions as well. Tantrum, a very, very good machine to represent the American machines. Or the American TV show, I should say, considering there's a few British robots on that side of things as well. Is Tantrum okay? It doesn't seem to be moving as smoothly or as fluidly as it should. Are the reigning champions on the ropes? The pit yawns open, but no, Tantrum are able to get away, and they bring that spinner back up to speed. This has been a terrific battle so far. King BQ have tried desperately to get their revenge, but they're being pushed back, and pushed back, and pushed back. They're teetering, they're tottering, but they're finally down. Tantrum are able to secure another victory against King BQ and get another point for Team BattleBots.
6.
What a fight that was! Commiserations to King BQ, they couldn't quite get their revenge this time. Fantastic battle, that's exactly what LEGO Wars is all about. Damage being done to King BQ early on, yes, but King BQ also nearly got caught out by the screws. That was where they were mostly in trouble, if you asked me. But then they were able to do that damage to the front of Tantrum, and for a long period of that battle, they actually were managing to get underneath Tantrum, causing more damage and being on the aggressive throughout as well. Tantrum started slowing down towards the end, but at sudden speed of life, managed to finally see King BQ go down into the pit.
A better fight than last time, but the result stays the same as Tantrum gives BattleBots a slim lead going into the second half. It'll be up to Duck to make amends for their poor bracket run against Lobster.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Oh, very quick start there as both machines clash into the centre of the arena. Another grudge match here actually as well between these two machines. Lobster caused a huge surprise in the round of 32 for Series 4. They took out Duck there. Duck were of course ranked 4th for that bracket, the 4th favourite to do well in that tournament, and they were out in round 1 of it courtesy of Lobster, who were ranked a lot lower than that, let's be honest. And Duck now, at the moment, flicked up and over, and it could very well be going the same way here. No, they managed to flip themselves back. We know that Duck doesn't really do very well when flipped up and over because Ducks do not like to be rotated, but they were able to self-right themselves very well there. Now giving them a good side attack there on Lobster, and nearly flicking Lobster up and over. Do not count Duck out just yet. One of the claws has gone on Lobster. That won't really worry them too much. They're more for decoration these days than an effective actual weapon. Being pushed back there though once again by Duck. A very, very impressive pusher, Duck, don't forget. Do not count them out. Yes, they did lose to Lobster in the main competition, but they could still come back strongly and win this one. Down goes the pit courtesy of Lobster. Good battle this so far. Oh, Lobster able to just outmaneuver Duck there and avoid being pushed down the pit. Can Duck get them down? No. Not on that attempt either. Robot Wars versus BattleBots, don't forget this is. Currently, Team BattleBots are in the lead, 3 points to 2. Lobster will be wanting to regain a point here for Team Robot Wars and even the score. Duck rotating itself, not the most viable of tactics, being pinned in against the arena sidewall there, but pushing Lobster back. Very good battle this one, very close as well. We thought it was going to be a good fight because grudge matches like this one usually tend to be. Both evenly matched machines thus far in this fight. Not really too sure who's winning on either criteria at the moment. Both have had effective weapons. Both have been very controlled. Both have been very aggressive. Is it me or is Lobster struggling with a little bit of mobility there? I think that right-hand wheel of theirs is not turning. And if that's not turning, they could very well be counted out. Although they are managing to move out their circumference zone, so they might just be safe. Not too sure. Not 100% sure how much longer is left of this battle, but the pit yawns deep and yawns open, and it's too late for Lobster, sent down by Duck, who get their revenge. That was a shame there for Lobster. They started off very well, in my opinion. They were able to control and, in my opinion, dominate the fight early on. Duck were also upside down for a long time at the early portions, but Duck were able to come back using their pushing power and the weapon to good effect as well. And I think some control issues and some issues with the right-hand wheel on Lobster certainly didn't help there. You can see it sort of jammed up there, look. And with them spinning around in circles, it was only a matter of time until they were sent back to the rock pool from hell.
Duck's Revenge restores BattleBots' 2-point lead as Robot Wars appears to be faltering. They will need Dior's newfound luck to claw the points back, but it'll be a tough ask against fellow Heat winners Whiplash.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
This has potential to be fight of the special for me. Two very effective lifters, both very quick, both very well driven machines as well. We could see a good tactical fight here, and I, for one, am very excited to see it. Dior with the big boggling eyes, the polka dot fur coating, a very entertaining machine as it loses one of its eyes. The pit button's been pressed there, but it only dropped about an inch, I'd say, if that. Now, is that going to hinder the robots in there? Yes, it is! Whiplash! Driving over it and it managed to get themselves stuck! And I don't think they can get away from there now! Dior could have had perhaps the luckiest break ever, and that is a huge shame in my opinion, because this had potential to be such a great battle, but I think it's already over! Whiplash can't get away from there, the pit is now fully lowered, and it's all over for Team BattleBots, and Dior getting a very cheeky, but very convincing, I must say, victory. That's a shame that, in my opinion. Arena shenanigans getting in the way of what could have potentially been a really, really good, fun fight between two awesome robots. Whiplash started well, but with the pit only lowering a slight amount, they got stuck. And after that, they couldn't get away. The pit eventually lowered, and Dior found it all too easy to shove them down into the abyss. Team Robot Wars get an extra point.
Well, it wouldn't be a LEGO Wars special without some arena malfunction, would it? Whiplash shows us why ground game is stupid as they get caught on the pits, leaving the score 4-3, going to Fight 8 and 2 wildcards in Nightmare and Mastiff.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Tell you what, it's good to see Mastiff back in the arena. We didn't see them at all in the main competition. Good attack there, though, by Nightmare. Trying to take out the side panel. Nearly flicked over there, though, by the wedge shape of Mastiff. Mastiff slipper raising, and it didn't fall off there, so obviously they've done something to improve that for this special. They lost very early in the international specials, representing Italy, of course. Nightmare were also in the international championship, don't forget, where they represented Canada, because it's definitely Canadian. Never forget the fact that Nightmare is definitely Canadian. Mastiff, I was looking to see if they could try and exploit that incredibly high ground clearance on the BattleBots legend. For me, Nightmare would be the favourite going into this just because it has the superior weaponry and it's proved to be a very destructive robot. The pit has once again failed to lower properly. You can see it's lowered a slight millimetre or two there, but only on one side. Mastiff nearly were able to get underneath Nightmare there again. If they get a good driving like that, they could eventually have the BattleBots legend flipped up and over, and we know for a fact that Nightmare cannot self-right. The pit has now finally been lowered, and Mastiff underneath. Oh, goodness me. Nightmare very nearly rolled over. We're lucky to land on their wheels, to be honest. Mastiff, in my opinion, are actually on top at the moment. We haven't really seen much damage done by that big spinning flywheel of Nightmares. Can they bring it into the side of Mastiff and cause some serious damage? No, not on that attempt. And in my opinion, Mastiff are doing very well to withstand the punishment here. I tell you what, Mastiff is renowned for taking a lot of damage in LEGO Wars, but it always continues to fight no matter how much damage it takes. But here it's not taking any damage at all. It's withstanding the hits from that devastating flywheel of Nightmare. Nightmare again trying to cause damage, but again failing to. Mastiff, finally some damage has been done. Look, part of the front wedge has been torn away, courtesy of that spinning flywheel. But Mastiff, for me, has so far been the more controlled machine. Not too sure who the most aggressive machine has been. Certainly the more effective weapon is now belonging to Nightmare. And it's only a matter of time, I think, until Nightmare does some more serious damage to the Italian wedge-shaped brawler. Oh, look there! Half of its face has been completely torn away, and the weapon of Mastiff has now been ripped open as well. Oh, but Nightmare down the pit! Mastiff securing a victory and securing another point for Team Robot Wars. Well, you've got to give credit where credit's due to Mastiff. They took a heck of a pounding there and still came out on top. They were also very much on top at the beginning of that battle, if you ask me. Very controlled and very aggressive early on, nearly flipping Nightmare over a couple of times as well. Nightmare, though, were able to come back and slowly wear down their opponent, doing serious damage to the front, tearing off half the front panel, and also doing serious damage to Mastiff's flipper as well. But Mastiff, after that attack, were able to use good driving control to guide Nightmare towards the pit, and Nightmare then threw themselves in. Muppets.
I'm not even shocked anymore as Mastiff once again pulls a win out of nowhere, bringing the score back level going into the penultimate fight in a friendly rivalry between Mingo and Scorpios.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So once again, oh goodness me, what a great start that was from both machines, slamming straight into each other in the centre of the arena. I think did end up the worst off due to the panels coming off, but they were able to get a good slam in against Scorpios. Remember, the scores are all tied up at the moment. It's 4 apiece to Team BattleBots and Team Robot Wars. So both these machines here will be desperate to get a win in to get their team, their respective team, in the lead. Scorpios with a good bit of driving there, able to get in behind Mingo now. And can they bring in that big spinning, whacking arm of theirs? Yes, they could. Weren't able to do too much damage though there to Mingo. Mingo, of course, representing the Robot Wars clan, being pushed there now into the release by Mingo! Oh my goodness me, one of those wheels right over the edge of the pit, can they get away? Yes, they can! How many robots has that pit release button been located there, caught out in this series? And Mingo able to be one of the few that escaped the pit's wrath. Fantastic stuff. This is a great battle so far between these two. We thought it might be two very wacky, fun and insane designs going at it. Both these machines fell at the round of 32 stage of Series 4 this year. Both machines worked hard to get there, but unfortunately weren't able to cut the mustard in the higher rounds. And they are looking to make up for that. Oh, one huge shot there onto the wheel of Mingo. Did you see it there? He got pulled away from the chassis. I think it's just about still reattached, but it may still be attached, but it's certainly a lot looser, and they're going to have to be a lot more careful on that wheel now. Certainly weapon effectiveness at the moment is going towards Scorpios. Control and aggression, not too sure. Probably Scorpios as well. Mingo have got a lot of hard work to do here. They hope to get that extra bonus point for Team Robot Wars. This is a terrific fight though. Fantastic stuff. We knew it was going to be good. We knew it was going to be violent. We knew it was going to be insane. What a good battle this has been. More damage being done there to Mingo, courtesy of that big spinning arm of Scorpios. The overhead spinner, the hammer saw, I guess you could call it as well. Very, very dangerous weapon. Very, very effective. It's a very effective design, Scorpios. They've only really lost you to poor luck in the past. But I tell you what, they're making up for it here against Mingo. Mingo looking very tired and very slow towards the end of this battle. And whilst this battle started off as a good, close, harsh-hitting crunch-up, I would have to say that Scorpios is slowly but surely managed to get on top towards the end of this battle. And I don't think Mingo can get away from that. No, they can't. Down the pit. And Scorpios securing an extra point for Team BattleBots. What a great fight that was, though. Great stuff. Whew, I have to catch my breath after that one. That was fantastic. Both machines meeting in the centre of the arena. Damage done to two-headed Death Mingo early on, but they were able to use good aggression and control throughout, but so too was Scorpios, managing to pin them in there and bring down that big hammer saw of theirs. Good driving here by Mingo, although they did nearly get caught out by the pit, they were able to escape later on, and they fought through a very, very good fight, but towards the end, Scorpios for me were certainly on top, and they used better driving to get Mingo down the pit.
A fantastic fight as Scorpios ends this year with a win, giving an advantage to BattleBots going into the main event. Panic Attack and Waddle Dee have been around since the very beginning of LEGO Wars, with the Robot Wars champs winning the first series and the BattleBots machine winning the second. Both robots have an All-Stars title to their hand, and yet they've never fought each other in a recorded fight before now. Robot Wars cannot take overall glory tonight, but they can tie the series, so let's see which champ will come out on top.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
So here we are then with our main event battle, and what a fight it will be. Panic Attack versus Waddle Dee Meta, two former LEGO Wars champions in their own right. Panic Attack, of course, winners of the very first series of LEGO Wars all those years ago. Waddle Dee Meta, meanwhile, dethroned them the following year to become champion of LEGO Wars Series 2. Waddle Dee Meta, you may be wondering why he's representing Team BattleBots, because it's a distant, direct, I guess you could say, relative of the BattleBots legend Warhead. There are some glaring similarities there after all. Panic Attack, meanwhile, do I even need to explain why they're the Robot Wars Series 2 Robot Wars champions, multi-time semi-finalists, of course, legends of the classic Robot Wars era, and using good superior driving there on Waddle Dee Meta to pin it against him in the sidewall and get those lifted forks underneath and lifting up the Series 2 LEGO Wars champions, but unable to fully capitalise on it. Waddle Dee Meta's spinner is now raised and doing damage into the top panel of Panic Attack. That was good work there by Waddle Dee Meta, able to get their spinner up in the air and do damage to the vulnerable top panels. Remember, Panic Attack has been designed to withstand the pressure from spinners on the lower parts of the robot, not with the higher top parts of the machine. And that is a good tactic there, though, by Panic Attack now to get those lifting forks in on that self-riding arm. But they had to let them go. They weren't able to fully utilise it to their full advantage. Good battle, this one so far. Very tactical. Both machines sort of feeling each other out a little bit here, not going straight into it. Good work there once again by Panic to get underneath the side of Waddle Dee Meta and trying to topple it over. But Waddle Dee Meta again able to just survive and land on its wheels. Will they now bring that deadly spinner in and try and do damage to those front lifting forks of Panic Attack? Will they try that same tactic again of going for the top panel? Good fight, this one, and Panic Attack very close to the pit. Remember, it was that exact pit there that took them out in the round of 32. This series of LEGO Wars. Bit of an upset there. They lost to 23 red in the round of 32 courtesy of the pit, and they were able to use that little bit of experience to their advantage and get away from it there and avoid the pit. Now using good aggression here to try and get Waddle Dee Meta towards the sidewall and good control. Panic Attack is not moving as smoothly as it was earlier in this battle, or is it? Not too sure. Seems to be struggling, but Waddle Dee Meta itself isn't really capitalising on this issue that Panic Attack seems to be having at the moment. I'd say Panic Attack are just on top at the moment, courtesy of the aggression and control. And Waddle Dee Meta really do have to try and take advantage of the fact that Panic Attack isn't moving as smoothly as it was earlier. But then again, Waddle Dee Meta doesn't seem to be moving as well either. Both these machines are very tired and very worn out. They've competed in numerous battles this year in LEGO Wars. Both are very tired. Both need to go home for some tender loving care, if you ask me. We're into the final 6 seconds of the battle. It is going to go to the judges. It was a good close fight. We thought it might be. And I tell you what, Waddle Dee Meta with a good smack there at the very end of the battle. Good fight. Both robots very tired towards the end, but at the early stage of the battle, they both performed exceptionally well in my opinion, especially Panic Attack in the early going, getting underneath Waddle Dee Meta many a time and nearly flipping them over. Good tactics used by Waddle Dee Meta throughout there to bring that spinner into play, but Panic Attack for me definitely had the better and more effective weapon throughout the battle. They also had the more control in my opinion as well, and I think the judges will have taken note of that, although they did nearly go down the pit there, and certainly towards the end, Waddle Dee Meta seemed to be the stronger of the two machines. Good fight though. Let's see what the judges think.
And the winner by split decision is Panic Attack. And that incredibly tight decision means it's a draw overall, which as far as this announcer is concerned is probably the best result we could have asked for. Because at the end of the day, both shows have helped bring so much joy to us over the years, and we wouldn't be here having fun with LEGO replicas without them. And of course, we wouldn't have had Robot Wars or BattleBots had it not been for Mark almost 30 years ago. So again, on behalf of LEGO Wars and the wider fan-made robot combat community, we salute you, Mark. That's all from us tonight. Our usual end of year grudge match will be here on the 29th, but for now, I've been your host, David Smeg, and we'll see you in the next one.
No sound. Just press it. No sound. I'm sorry. I'm not good at iPhone. I have an Apple. I don't have an
I'm feeling this is going to go one way.
I'm not good at iPhone. I have an Apple. Go.
Sam Elliott, 2023.